Alright, so what we have today is a Xbox One S model. It's already been disassembled. So the board on this side is actually really clean. I've already inspected it with the microscope and I don't see anything that stands out. There's no damage. However, if you flip this over, whoops, don't do what I just did and drop it. But you see all these white spots? There's some type of liquid damage on here. Let's see if we can zoom in and show this a little better here. You can see it all over the board too. And there's a lot of corrosion because of that. Especially over here in these corners. Here's some more of it. You get the general idea. So effectively what's happening is the console will do a single beep. The front power LED will turn on, and then the console will immediately turn off. So there's a power issue. I've already checked the power supply. It is working. I also, right over here, this R47 component, when you have the power supply plugged in, if you check there, there should be 12 volts. There is not 12 volts. I'm getting half a volt, which tells me there's a short someplace on this board and voltage is being drawn to ground someplace else, which isn't surprising considering all of the liquid damage. So probably not going to be a fun repair, but I figured I'd take a crack at it and see if I can figure it out. There are hundreds of components on this board that have to be inspected and checked to make sure they're working. So what I'm going to do is initially clean this with some isopropyl alcohol and a toothbrush, and we'll move to the microscope view so that you can see what these dirty traces and components look like. And I'm not so sure this is actually going to work, but we'll give it a shot. All right, so here we have the board under a microscope, and as you can see, there's corrosion on this board. A lot of the soldering joints have this on it. Some are worse than others, but this liquid residue, whatever's left here, covers the majority of this board. As you can see, there's some more right here. What I'm going to do is just move this around so you can see other spots on the board that have this type of damage. So this is probably some of the better spots on the board. There are some worse spots. And then there are some spots where whatever this liquid was, it's really gunked up and left some really thick residue. I'm not really sure what to call it. That needs to be cleaned off. For example, let's move over to this location on the board. And if I can get my camera to focus here. So you can see around this capacitor at R2N1, there's a bunch of gunk, and some of the board has full caps just covered in this stuff. All right, so I'll move around on the board here a little bit more so you can see some more of the damage, but I think you guys get the general idea of what's going on here. The liquid damage is widespread. It's all over the place. I could honestly I'm probably going to spend the next 2 or 3 hours cleaning this and resoldering joints and trying to determine where the problem is and seeing if I can fix it. But I'm not going to include that all in this video because I don't think that would be entertaining for you guys. So what I'm going to do is just fast forward to a little bit of cleaning that you can see, and then we'll go into testing and seeing if I can get this working. Again, I want to stress that these videos sometimes that I post are 15-20 minutes long, but for a liquid damage like this, it doesn't take 15-20 minutes to find the problem. If it was on one portion of the board, maybe, but not this widespread. So what effectively I end up doing is spending a couple hours, and I'm just not going to film that and include it in the video because it's just boring. I'm just going around the board looking for more stuff like what you see right now, where this liquid has left residue and caused corrosion possibly, and then pitting in the solder joints, which there is some locations on this board. What I'll do is I'm going to move over to this last section of the board here where there's a heck of a lot more corrosion and rust going on here. Alright, so we have some pass-through components right here where the solder joints don't look healthy at all. There's also a ton of surface-mounted components that have the same problem. Most of the joints look like this, and I had to have counted 50 or 60 of these, so I have to go through and I'm going to have to clean these up and probably reflow the solder on all these to make sure they're okay, and then do some testing from there. Alright, so you get the gist of it. Let's move over to this last section of the board, just only because I thought it looked interesting under a microscope. This is where this is probably where the liquid hit mostly and then ran down the board. There seems to be a lot of residue left, and it just seems to be built up. And again, I'm not really sure what this liquid was. I can't tell, and usually the individuals that sell these consoles, they don't know, so it's really difficult to know what was really spilled on here. But yeah, we got some nasty stuff over here, so we got to clean this all off. Alright, so I'm going to clean this gunk off the board using IPA and a toothbrush, and hopefully I can just scrub this away and it dissolves and evaporates with the IPA. I'm not really going to know until I clean all these joints which ones look okay and which ones don't. Some of the ones that I showed previously, they may be okay. It might just be the liquid damage residue from whatever spilled on this board that makes them look that way. So, I mean, these two joints here, for example, they're already looking a heck of a lot better, and there's probably nothing wrong with these. Alright, so here on the board you can see some of this crusty gunk left behind by this liquid squill, which I'm just going to use this pick and gently remove. And there's a lot of the board that's covered in this crap, so I'll have to do this as well. Just showcasing this because this is sometimes stuff that you're going to run into if you're doing these types of repairs. The reason I'm using a pick to do this and not just scrubbing this with a toothbrush and IPA is because oftentimes the IPA and the toothbrush won't actually break through this stuff, so it's easier just to take a pick, scrape the bulk of it off, clean it, and then use the toothbrush and IPA to clean what remains on the board. That being said, let's move to the next section that I wanted to show you guys. A lot of the soldering joints on this board here in the very center, you can see there's a pinhole in that solder joint. This happens after a liquid spill. This is not how it came from the factory, and all of these need to be inspected, and then oftentimes what I do is I just reflow them and I add a little bit more solder to these joints. Some of these don't matter because they don't actually go to a component. But what I like to do is reflow the solder at all these joints and make it look good. That allows me to keep track of where I've worked on the board, but also guarantees that any of the surface mounted components on the other side have a strong connection to the board via that solder joint. Alright, so we cleaned up the back of this board. There was a lot of corroded components. I did it off camera. There was just too many to go over. There's just hundreds of them, so what I did was hit it with a hot air gun to reflow the solder and liquefy it. Chances are there was probably a hairline crack in one of these components, which you're not gonna be able to see because it's down in the vias, but that's okay. So it's cleaned up. I took some measurements here. What I wanna do is I wanna plug in a power supply and check it with my multimeter and see if on this R47 component over here, which actually, let me turn this around so you guys can see this. Here. So what we're looking at here is this. So this is the main power rail. It comes in here and it comes through here, and we should have 12 volts here. If we have 12 volts here, then I'm going to put the console mostly back together and just test it and see if it will actually power on, stay on now instead of power on and then shut off not even a second later. So we need I'm going to turn this around actually. I need it this way, so let's reorientate this and zoom out. So all I'm doing is plugging in the power supply here and then plugging this into some power. And then we're gonna bring the multimeter over and we're gonna set this right here. It'll be fine. So you wanna hit a ground point, which we can just go out to this gold pad right here, or copper pad rather. And we're gonna hit this component here. Okay, we got 12 volts. So that's a good indication that this is now working, or at least one of the problems is solved. So what I'm going to do is get this console back together. Well, we're going to get it back together enough to test. I'll do that off camera and we'll come back and we'll see if this will power on and actually function. Alright, so we got the console put back together enough to do testing. It's kind of a good sign the fan is spinning. It didn't do that before. The console would turn on and the fan would shut off. So as you can see, that's spinning there. Let's just test this voltage rail here and see if we get 12 volts. And we get 12 volts, so that's a good sign. This might actually be fixed. I'm going to have to get the rest of the console put back together, get the hard drive and the disk drive put in, and then we can test it and see if we get any video output and see if it actually boots into the OS. Alright, so I got the Xbox One put back together. I reassembled it after checking for 12 volts on the power rail. which showed up on the multimeter, which you guys saw earlier in the video. Okay, the console turned on by itself. Well, let's see if it works. Come on, Xbox, you can do it. Well, this doesn't look promising. But the light's on. It's not shutting off, so... Well, maybe I just gotta give it a couple minutes. I don't know how this thing was powered down, and... Actually, I don't even know if the hard drive or the operating system is working on it. But I can hear what sounds like... Well, it's probably the fan. Maybe I need to hit some buttons on the controller? Nah. I guess we can just sit here and wait and see what happens. I'll give it a couple minutes. You know, like I said at the start of this video, Oh, okay. Well, console's functioning. Sweet. So we ended up getting that fixed. That was a nightmare to repair. So something in this video, I just want you guys to know, I didn't get this fixed in 15 minutes. So the video is like 15-ish minutes, give or take. But the actual repair took me several hours of cleaning the board, doing service component resoldering with a hot air station and my soldering iron. I don't show it all in the video because I don't think anybody wants to watch a 3-hour video of that happening, but we got it working. That's all that counts. And that's it. So thanks for watching. Good luck with your repair, and I'll catch you guys in another video. Oh, hey, if you're still here, great. I wanted to put this in at the end of the video to give some more details about this repair. First, I didn't have to replace any components on this board, which is a bit of a miracle in my opinion. Typically, when there is liquid damage, you end up with components that are damaged as well and need replacing. This system board had 4 or 5 capacitors that were not attached to the board. I believe that was the core issue as to why the console wouldn't power on or work. After soldering those capacitors back on the board, I was able to see the 12 volts I would expect to see with the power supply plugged in. I did end up testing the console off camera for several hours, and it is fully working. I'm happy I was able to fix it. Usually liquid damage ends up being unrepairable, so it's always nice to win once in a while. Anyhow, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in another video.